The fact that they're trying to say that being nice to a girl now is manipulation. So if you beat a girl, you go to jail. Yeah. If you grab a girl by her hair, you go to jail. If you say, excuse me, please, can you come over here? You go to jail. So you can't escape this insanity anymore, and they're doing it on purpose to remove any capability at all for you to be a man. Women have all the control. We live in a matriarchy. The law is always on their side. They can lie, they can make things up. They're out to destroy you as a man no matter what. They run the household because if you say anything to her, you're gonna go to jail. If they divorces you, she takes all your stuff. Like, it's a matriarchy we live under, and it's very purposeful, and it's kind of scary. The whole point of this insanity is that everybody is guilty all of the time. And I don't think most people at home watching this understand, if you are a red-blooded male in the world today, you are guilty of crimes. And if they come and they get your phone and they look through it, you are guilty. The time you said to your wife, I'll be home soon, is dinner ready, is controlling behavior. The time you sold your phone without paying taxes. The time you recorded yourself driving, breaking the speed limit. The time, they'll get your phone and they will wreck you. And by the time they put those 8 cases together, you hire a lawyer, you're on bail, you go to trial, and they waste 3 years of your life. They bankrupt you.
Yep.
And you're stuck in this legal quagmire of lawfare. And it's kind of interesting that most people don't seem to understand. When this happened to me, I kept saying on podcasts before it happened, they're gonna arrest me. My second life, they're gonna get me.
Yeah, you kept saying the three strikes and you're out.
3 strikes. I said, first they try and cancel you. If that fails, they put you in jail for a bullshit reason. If that fails, they kill you. And I said, they're gonna arrest me. And I kept warning everyone. And then it came and people are like, why don't you just get a lawyer? And how stupid do you have to be to think that you just get a lawyer? It's a matrix attack. It's a clown world attack. The whole point is that everybody's guilty of everything all the time, and nobody who's been inside the legal system, if you haven't been through the quagmire of it yet, you don't understand exactly how guilty you are. I guarantee you, every single person watching this right now, if they get hold of your mobile phone and they get the password, they will find charges.
Yeah, they can build something against you.
Of course they can.
Yeah.
They can see the other phones you were in a vicinity with. You could be walking through the mall and you walk past a drug dealer at the wrong time. That's enough for them.
Yep.
They will get something and they will wreck you. And if you're not changing your phone once a month, well, then you're walking around with criminal charges in your pocket. And this is the reality of it. So if you ever get too large, if you ever say things they don't like, because your ability to speak freely is directly correlated with your insignificance. You're only allowed to speak freely if no one listens. If people listen, then you have to be a lot more careful with what you say. Then they come along, they get your phone, and they find any excuse they can to charge you. So it's a matrix attack, and you have to understand that you live under a system in which the government will pretend they protect you, but truthfully, the government is out for itself, and the government is aiming to get forever and endless control of your life. Every single government's objective is some form of communism where they control everything. They don't care about the prosperity. They don't care about making money. These things are kind of a illusion. Many people say, oh yeah, but you know, the government wouldn't do that because they need people to have businesses. They need people to make money. They print the money. They make up the money. And they don't care if you starve because they'll always eat. If they cared about money, why was everyone locked in their house? Why did everyone's business get closed during COVID if they cared about money? No, they never cared about money. They don't care. What they care about is control. And not enough people go to sleep at night realizing that every day you wake up, the government makes new laws. Has the government ever taken a law away? When's the last time the government said, we have too many laws, give me the book, let's throw some of this trash away? No, every day there's new ones. And if you make new laws every single day, you're eventually heading towards slavery. That's the end goal of it, is slavery.
Yep.
And we're not far off slavery now. I think a lot of people don't realize that the idea of slavery is we're gonna get somebody, force them to work, leave them in a house that we've given them and give them some food, and we're gonna force them to work. But doing that is extremely difficult. It's actually not efficient because you have to force someone to do a job they don't want to do, which is very hard to do.
Yep.
You have to stop them running away. You need an army, you need a fence. It's very difficult. It's actually much easier to pay them a little bit of money and they spend all that money on their house and their food and they believe they have free will. And now they don't realize they're a slave anymore. Because if you're a slave, you get kidnapped and you get told to work and you get a house and food. If I say, oh, I don't have to kidnap you. Oh, here's a nice opportunity for you. Come do this job. It's an opportunity. And then you work and you spend all your money on a house and food. Now you realize, you think you're free and you're actually a slave.
You're still in it.
Of course. And the best prison on earth is going to be the one you don't realize you're in. That's the goal, is to keep the wool over everyone's eyes. Most people don't realize they're in a jail. They wake up at 7 a.m. and they go to a job and they work hard all day and they come home and they have no time for their family and they barely pay their bills and they barely afford to eat and they have no money left at the end of the month and they somehow think they're free. And they sit there and they watch the news and the news lies to them and they got vaccine in their arm and they can't fly anywhere because they can't afford it or if their boss will give them leave.
Yep.
And they somehow believe they're free. You're a slave. It's kind of crazy because even when I was in jail, I was talking to Tristan and we were saying this. Most people on the outside are less free than us here in jail.
Yeah.
You know, at least I can feed my family and feed my children. You know, at least I can fly the people I love all around the world at random. You know, it's kind of crazy, but all of these things that are done is to ensure that the controlling class and the elites have as much control over the populace as possible. That's the end goal of it all, and I don't think most people understand that. People who are at the bottom rung of society and people who are at the absolute top rung of society live similar lives, and the people in the middle avoid certain things. I'll give you an example. The homeless people didn't get the vaccine. The billionaires didn't get the vaccine. People in the middle got the vaccine.
Yep.
The homeless people are stuck in endless legal battles and going to jail and need a lawyer and getting arrested, etc. The people at the top are stuck in endless legal battles and going to jail and needing a lawyer and getting arrested. And somewhere in the middle, you can avoid these things. You can sit in the middle and go, oh, I'm so glad I don't go to jail. I'm just going to pay my mortgage and I'm just going to work really hard and I'm just going to be quiet. I'm not going to have an opinion and I'm going to listen to the BBC and I'm not going to post it on Facebook and I'm just going to sit there and be a good slave. But if you're on the top or the bottom, you're kind of stuck in the same scenarios. And if you get to a high echelon, the highest echelons of life, you're going to deal with this crap. You're going to go to jail. You're going to catch a case. If you make a bunch of money, you're going to catch a case. If you're at home right now and you're thinking, I want to become a millionaire, that's fine. But if you want to make 20, 30, 40 million dollars and you're from nothing, you're from a council estate like me, and you want to end up with, well, I have hundreds of millions of dollars, but let's say you want to make 30 mil. There is no way you're getting there without catching a case. The feds are going to jump on you. You're going to get tax evasion, money laundering. Some girl's going to want some money. You're going to end up in a jail cell. I guarantee it. There's a law of the universe, and it's absolutely universal. And there's some laws which are man-made, and there's some laws which are dictated by God himself that you can't avoid. And there is no light without dark. There is no light without dark. You're not going to be able to go from a Luton council estate to paying yourself $2 or $3 million a week without catching a case. You're going to end up caught, whether I ran my mouth or not. I sit here and tell the truth because I believe it's my duty, and I believe the reason I have such a large platform is so that I can inspire people to resist the slavery of the matrix. But you're always going to do these things. So if anyone is at home is actually truly ambitious and understands and want to make a whole bunch of money, that's great. But you have to be prepared for the good and the bad. It's actually asinine and awfully childish for people to want an exceptional life and think that exceptionalism is only the positive. People say, I don't want a normal life. I want a great life. Okay, you don't want a normal life. Well, guess what's not normal? Private jets with your Bugatti being flown over to Dubai waiting for you, and Romanian dungeons. They're both not normal scenarios. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And if you truly want to be free or you want to feel like you're free, you're going to pay the price for that. So I think, like, especially as the world continues to spiral towards authoritarianism, especially as people begin to wake up and want to tell the truth, especially as they try to control all of us even harder with the economic mechanisms they have, if you're out here looking to make a bunch of money, you need to also prepare yourself for a case and prepare yourself for jail. You have to remove all the attack vectors. Let's say I wanted to get as rich as possible and I wanted to make sure no matter what, I didn't go to jail. Okay, that's fine. But then you're gonna end up removing the joys of life because it's the joy of life that's the attack vector. It's actually funny. I said something the other day to my brother. I said, all the men I know just want to work. If you ask me what I want to do when I wake up, work. What am I doing on Sunday? Work. All I do is work. All the women I know just want to have fun. And fun is where the problems come. All the fun is the sin and the haramities, the garbage. Fun is danger, right? So it's the same. You have a nice Ferrari, you have a Bugatti, you want to drive it really fast, you're well known in your city, that's problems. You want to go out to the club and hang around with a bunch of girls, that's problems. Anything you do once you get rich, they're going to use against you. So you're saying, how do you get rich without ending up in trouble? Well, then what's the point in being rich if you're just going to sit in your house and behave? Like, what's the point in being rich if you're just going to sit in your house and lock the door and be scared of everything? True. If you're a rich person and you go out and you go to a nightclub or you go to a restaurant or you try and talk to a girl on Instagram, that's enough. That's a case. That's it. It's done. Yeah. That's done. You can do it when you're broke. When you're broke, you can go up to a chick and say, hey, you're beautiful. She'll say, go away. When you're rich and you go up and say, excuse me, you're beautiful, she says, go away. And then she realizes who you were and how rich you were, and she'll change her mind. And she'll message you. And then if you ignore her, she'll say you sexually assaulted her. And now you got a police case. That's the world now. So you can't avoid these things. There's no light without dark. And I also think that it would be cowardice to say, I want to get as rich as possible and I want to make sure nothing bad happens to me. Listen, this is the universal law of how the world has always worked. If you're going to be a warlord, and you can talk about it financially, it's financial war, business is war. If you're going to be a warlord, you're going to go to war. Because they don't understand how the government operates, because they don't understand what the Matrix is trying to do, because they don't understand that they're guilty of everything all the time just because they're a man, because they don't understand that trying to become financially free is direct attack on the Matrix. They've convinced you that they want people to become financially free because it's good for the economy. That's garbage. No, they want you enslaved, all of you. You are attacking the Matrix in many forms. You need to prepare for jail. And things like my children, I was prepared in advance for jail. I kept saying they're going to send me. If I had not prepared properly, everyone, including myself, would be destitute. My family would be destitute. My children would have starved. I would be destitute. I've been arrested a year and a half ago. That my bank accounts were seized on the day of my arrest. I haven't had not a dollar since that day. And I pulled up an SF-90. So how did I do that? How did I do that? Well, I did that by thinking ahead. And you have to ask the average person at home, and I'll ask you now, please, as a professional, answer the following question. If they take your passport and they take all the bank accounts in your name, and they take all of your cryptocurrency accounts in your name, and they seize your house because your house is a mortgage, and they're gonna find out what that is, and they're gonna get a new piece of paper from a judge, and they're gonna seize that, what do you have left? And where? And can you access it? Can you access it from jail? How do you move that money around? How do you pay for people? Where is it? People don't even think ahead. They save up some money and they put it in their NatWest and they're like, oh, I'm free. You're not free of anything. NatWest will take that off you. It takes a second, one phone call.
Yeah, the same way you said in the last podcast, if you really own a house, they could take that in a split second as well. Same for your money.
Of course, you don't own anything.
Yeah.
So then you have to sit and go, okay, how do I prepare for the ultimate level of Matrix attack with my money? Well, you can put things in other people's name. That's one way. But then if they work out who those people are, they're going to take that too. So then you have to sit and realize, well, how do the elites do it? The elites don't own anything. Trust funds own things, companies own things, foreign entities own things, shell companies own things. So then you have to go deeper down the rabbit hole and realize that you need to start setting up these extremely elaborate corporate structures just to protect your car, because otherwise you're going to lose it. So most people at home, and the reason I say these things, most people at home don't realize how fragile they are. And you're very fragile if you're broke, but you're also very fragile if you're rich and you're not prepared for the Matrix attack, because it's gonna come. It's going to come for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for it, they're gonna take everything you own and you're gonna be destitute. There's so much work for you to do as a man. I don't know how people I barely sleep and I never not work and I never lay in. I'm never lazy. And I don't understand how people don't work all of the time. And when I say that, people say, but work on what? I don't know what to work on. Bro, you need 10 passports, you need 25 bank accounts, you need shell companies, you need a trust fund, you need to make some money, you then need to move that money away, you need multiple places to live, you need a place for your children to live, they need a trust fund, you have stuff to do.
Yep.
And people are just sitting around doing nothing. It's mind-boggling to me. And I guess if you sit around and do nothing, maybe you won't be successful, but if you're lucky enough to pull something off and make a little bit of money and you get too large, but you haven't done the groundwork, then you get wrecked the other way. They want people inside of their slave containers. They want everyone in the middle. All of the laws are made to control the people in the middle. So they want as many people as possible in the middle. Like we just discussed the vaccine. They can't enforce it against the homeless. They can't enforce it against a billionaire. But let me give you another example. Taxes. They can't enforce taxes against a homeless man, and they can't enforce taxes against a billionaire. They can only enforce taxes against the people in the middle. Because when you make a law, you have to make the law so that it applies to as many people as possible. So what they try and do is force everyone into this middle bracket, middle class, the middle class. And the goal is to get everyone in there so they can wreck them with the law. It's only the middle class that are afraid of the law. It's the middle class that's afraid of getting a speeding ticket, because if he gets a speeding ticket and he doesn't pay the speeding ticket, then it goes to a bailiff, and the bailiff turns up to his house and he can't run away because the house is his and it's in a mortgage, and if he doesn't pay it, they're gonna take the house off him and seize his car, and he has to pay that speeding ticket. If you give some homeless bum who just stole a car a speeding ticket, he doesn't care. And if you give a billionaire a speeding ticket, it never even arrives at his house.
Yeah.
It ends up going to some foreign shell company in the Cook Islands that owns the Ferrari he's borrowing. So only in the middle you get screwed by the law, so they try and keep everyone in the middle. That's what they do. So they'll pretend they want to help homelessness and pretend they want to help people at the bottom to elevate them up to this middle class where they can wreck them. And they also drag everyone from the top down as much as possible because they want them in the middle so they can wreck you. And all of the laws are made with this in mind. So if you're going to be truly rich, like I am, And also what I did, my capital crime was preaching freedom and inspiring freedom. The reason they dislike me so heavily is because I inspire freedom amongst the populace.
Yeah.
Young boys look at me and go, I don't want to do the things the Matrix tells me to do. I want to be like Andrew Tate. I'm a symbol of resistance. I'm a symbol of masculine imperative, and I'm a symbol of freedom. And they find me scary for that reason. And when they want to, I mean, they can't put everyone in jail, right? And they want to keep the population enslaved. So what they're thinking is, if we chop off the head of the snake, if we get rid of Andrew Tate, our job will be easier.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for them, it's not working so far. So they're gonna have to assassinate me, it seems. Once again, Matrix attack, mind garbage. They're trying to enslave people. Don't be a kickboxer. Don't get up every day, go running, train hard, get strong, be brave, enter the ring, honorable combat. Don't do that, no. Don't do anything of significance, because if you do anything of significance, you're trying to become famous. That makes you a bad person. How dare you be significant? Significance and fame are the same thing. I think it's the masculine imperative to be a man. What does a male peacock do? It shows its feathers. Hi, look. Yeah, I'll kick the shit out of you. I'll kick the shit out of you. I'll see you on February 10th, pussy. Of course. What does that make me? Does that make me fame hungry? It's just God. What they're hoping is that some kid will sit there and go, okay, so if I try to be anything that's bad, I'll just sit and be a Matrix slave. That's what they want. What's funny is I don't think anybody believes these clowns anymore. I don't know who is watching the BBC and believes a single word they say. I guess the boomers, the old people, but mainstream media is dying. I've been a huge part of the attack on the MSM. I've been a massive part of the crack on the Matrix, which is why they hate me so much. It's why they're trying to get rid of me.